Shout out to brother Officer Tatum. Now, I hate to do this to him. I hate to make this video, but Officer Tatum is a boot-licking moron, apparently.
Next, Tatum thinks that the officers used a proportionate amount of force for the situation because he's a boot-licking moron.
If you don't know what you're talking about, don't make a video about Brandon Tatum. That's it. Put your biases aside, put your anti-police rhetoric aside, do some research before you decide to make a video calling me a bootlicker and all kind of other stuff when you have no idea what you're talking about according to the law. You have no idea what you're talking about according to police interactions. You have no idea what you're talking about according to what you claimed that I said and the positions that you said I took and didn't take.
All right, guys, we are heating up. We are talking today about two heavyweights going at it. We have the Officer Tatum. Y'all know him, a huge Goliath in the space. He has over 3 million subscribers, a big dog. But then you have another YouTuber, a man named Lackluster. He also has over 1 million subscribers. Lackluster has called Officer Tatum out over this whole JSO officer viral video. Lackluster calls Officer Tatum a moron, calls him a bootlicker. Now Officer Tatum has responded back. What I am going to do is review this video, and I'm going to look at one thing specifically. I'll be honest with you, they talk about a lot of different issues, and if I try to cover them all, I'd be here all day. So I'm only going to cover one. Maybe in future videos, I'll pick up some more issues and I'll decide who is right and wrong. Again, I am the lead attorney, practiced law down here in Atlanta over 20 years. I've handled countless criminal cases, so I've got a perspective on this. Now, Lackluster and Officer Tatum are arguing back and forth about numerous issues, but I'm only going to pick up one today. Today, we are only going to talk about the rain issue. Was the officer correct in pulling over the driver because he didn't have his headlights on?
Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on.
Now, it needs to be said that the officer had a couple of more reasons why he pulled the driver over. But we are just going to focus on the headlight issue and the rain issue. Was the driver required to have his headlights on because of the rain? Officer Tatum and Lackluster can't agree on this point, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of you can't agree either. I did a video on this recently and I got so many comments about the dang rain. I mean, just look at what you guys are sending me 44 minutes ago. Am I the only one that sees raindrops all over the dude's car? 55 minutes ago, I see raindrops. If it wasn't raining, why are there raindrops? Dude, it was clearly raining. Come on, lead. There were raindrops everywhere. It's rain, rain, rain. It's 100% raining. The beautiful Ricky says, lead, I usually agree with you, but you can see the raindrops. Guys, I tell you, I got hundreds and hundreds of comments. There's literally rain on the car. Everybody's talking about this rain. So who is right, Lackluster or Officer Tatum, the bootlicker? By the end of this video, you will know decisively who is right and who is wrong in this debate. And it's very important for me to tell you that you're not going to know who's right or wrong just because I told you. You are going to know who's right and who's wrong because you critically thought for yourself. So here's what we're going to do. It is your first day in law school. You are sitting in my criminal law class. I am your professor, Professor Lead. Today, we're going to talk about this case and whether the officer was allowed to pull the driver over because he didn't have his headlights on. Again, there are a lot of other issues that we can talk about, but I don't want to make this video too long. So, was the officer allowed to pull the driver over because the officer saw that he didn't have his headlights on? That's the question that I'm asking you. And you, it's your first day of law school, you say, well, I don't know. How am I supposed to figure it out? Well, I'll tell you, young student, if you have a question about the legality of something, the first place you go to is the law. You go to the state statute. All right, here is the state statute right here. The Florida Senate, the Florida statutes, when lighted lamps are required. All right, this is going to explain to us when you have to have your headlights on. If the officer saw that the driver did not have his headlights on when required, then the officer was correct in pulling him over for this violation. Let's read it. It says, every vehicle operated on a highway within the state shall display lighted lamps and illuminated devices as herein respectively required. Okay, number one, at any time from sunset to sunrise, so basically at nighttime in the twilight hours. But here is where we get into the thick of things. You are required to have your headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So if I ask you, young student of mine, when in Florida are you required to have your headlights on? Relevant to this specific case, the answer is during any rain, smoke, or fog. You got that? Rain, smoke, or fog. That's it. Now you guys may say, wow, being a lawyer is pretty easy. I know what rain means, I know what smoke means, and I know what fog means, right? Well, I got you. The most important word when we analyze this particular situation is not rain, is not smoke, and it's not fog. What's the most important word? It's during. You see here, guys, this during here, this is the operative word. This state statute, honestly, is very specific. It doesn't say before it's raining. It doesn't say after it's raining. It says during the rain. So what does that mean? It means that the officer has to initiate the traffic stop during the rain. The officer has to pull this driver over while it's raining. The pulling over of the driver and the rain needs to occur simultaneously. Is that clear to you? And since you're a first-year law student, it's your first day of class, you might say, well, that's not really what they meant, right? They didn't mean during. No. The United States Supreme Court, all the way down to all the lower courts, have always said that the legislature means exactly what they've said. If the legislature would have wanted to write this law to say, before the rain, then the legislature could have done that. If the legislature wanted to say 30 minutes after the rain or an hour after the rain, the legislator could have wrote that in the statute. The legislature did neither, however. The legislature said during. These state legislators are all adults, probably half of them are attorneys, so they know how to use their words well, and they all said during. What does during mean in this context? It means two events occurring simultaneously: the pulling over of the driver and the rain. We got that? We're on the same page? Now you know how to analyze this case legally. Now let's go to the facts of this case. Was it raining? Here we have the driver's car, and we can clearly see water droplets. Now let me ask you, law student, thinking critically, if there are water droplets on a car, does it necessarily mean that it's raining? This is easy for you, even though it's your first day. Obviously, the answer is no. Water droplets can be on a car for numerous reasons. Water droplets could be on a car because it rained 15 minutes ago. Water can be on a car because the car got washed. Water can be on the car because the car rolled over a puddle and water splashed on the car. So just because there are water droplets on the car does not mean that it's raining. What I'm going to do is play this video, but I'm going to mute it so we can focus on the water droplets. And what I want you to look at, young student, I want you to see if there are any new droplets that you see forming on the car as the video plays. Now, everybody take a close look. I'm going to play the video. Do you see any new water droplets? If you see new water droplets, then we can assume that that's rain. If we see no new water droplets, then what does that mean? All right, let's play the video. So here is the video. It is playing. Again, I've muted it because we don't need the sound to figure out whether it's raining or not. I'll be honest with you. I'm looking at the glass. I'm looking at the molding. I'm looking at the door. I see no new water droplets. Do you guys see any new water droplets? I don't see one. We're just letting it play here. I'm going to say that it's not raining, guys. Could it have rained previously? 100%. I do believe that it was raining 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes ago. But if I'm honest with you, I saw no new water droplets forming on that car. So, young student of mine, this is the question for you. All right, you ready? During the time that the body cam video was taken, was it raining? That's your question. Now, I do need to point out that it is technically possible for the officer to have pulled the driver over and then 5, 10, 20 seconds when the officer gets up there, it stops raining. So that it was raining when the officer pulled the driver over, but it's not raining 20 seconds into the video. That is a possibility technically, but just going on the video as we see it, I believe it is not currently raining. What did we say about the law? We said, young law student, that every vehicle operated upon a highway, every driver is required to have their headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. So was this driver required to have his headlights on? If the officer pulled the driver over during the rain, then yes. But if the officer pulled the driver over when it was not raining, then no. Now, when you hear all these content creators, these YouTubers talking about this issue and you don't know who's right, now you know how to think for yourself. Now you know how to legally analyze whether this driver was required to have his headlights on or not. Now, law student of mine, I'm going to give you a quick pop quiz. I am going to have you analyze some of the comments of the regular people, the people who are not in law school like you are. And I want to see if you can identify any issues with how these laymen are thinking about this case. Here's the first comment. It says the ground is wet and there are water particles on his windows. Just because it isn't currently raining doesn't negate the fact that inclement weather was and is still problematic. All right, law student of mine, do you see a problem with this argument? Let's look at this one. TLA, we can see that there is water on the vehicle and that the skies are cloudy. So even if it wasn't raining in the video, it probably was raining before they started rolling. Law student, future lawyer, do you see a problem with this comment? This is why I love the internet. This is why I love YouTube. You guys can learn to critically think in a legal manner, just as we attorneys do. No information, no knowledge is locked behind some gate. No one's gatekeeping now that we have the internet and especially all these chat GPT-4s. Now you guys know something that these regular laymen do not. All right, now let's see what Officer Tatum has to say about this. Let's see if we can spot any issues to his thinking, to his rationale, or is Lackluster wrong? Let's take a look.
You're gonna hear this guy talk about it. You see people say it online. It's the most asinine and ridiculous claim. It's because they hate police and they always want the police to be wrong, so they will make up anything. It wasn't raining. Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Let's stop it right there. Officer Tatum says if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see rain droplets still on his car. Now, guys, I got a question for you, and I'm gonna see who are the A students and who are the B students, all right? There are two problems with what Brandon Tatum just said. He said that if it wasn't inclement weather, you still wouldn't see the rain droplets on the car. Can you identify the two problems with this statement? I'll give you 5 seconds, all right? And while you're considering it, it's very hard to get an A in law school, okay? All right, time's up. If you got this answer, then at least you have a B. What's the problem with what he said? Let's go back and take a look.
Look at this video. This is fresh rain droplets still hanging onto his vehicle. If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
He said if it wasn't inclement weather, you wouldn't see raindrops on the car. What is the B answer? The B answer is, Officer Tatum, respectfully, you can see raindrops on a car when it's not raining. The rain could have stopped 5 minutes ago. It could have stopped 15 minutes ago. It could have stopped 30 minutes ago. Just because there are raindrops on a car does not mean that it's raining. If you got that answer, then I will give you a B. All right, that's the layup answer. But do you see a second problem with what he said? And let me just replay it because it's hard to catch.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car.
Did you catch it? Guys, I will tell you that if you are an attorney, you have to pay such close attention to every single word. What did Officer Tatum say? He said, if it wasn't inclement weather. What's the problem with that? The problem is inclement weather isn't a thing. It's nowhere in the statute. Guys, here is the complete statute that governs when your lights must be on, your headlights. Again, we see here during any rain, smoke, or fog. Do you see anything about inclement weather? As a lawyer, you have to pay attention to when people try to introduce new words, new meanings into an argument. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. In fact, if I go up here and just do a Control F, let's see. I am going to put the word inclement. I don't know if you can see this or not, guys, but I put the word inclement in here and it comes up 0/0. Nowhere in here does it talk about inclement weather. So when Officer Tatum says, hey, it's inclement weather, and you have to know as a law student that he's introducing new words that are not in the statute. The only thing we lawyers are concerned about is during any rain, smoke, or fog. That's it. I don't want to hear about inclement weather. I don't want to hear about low visibility. I don't want to hear about wet roads. The Florida legislature said during any rain, smoke, or fog. So pay attention to that. Did you get it? Did you get the inclement weather injection? If you got that, then you got an A on that pop quiz. And I really am impressed. If you got the B, then that's fine. But if you got an A, give yourself a pat on the back. Hold up. Let's pause for a second for a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare. If you or someone you love is on Medicare, this matters. The Department of Justice just revealed a huge fraud case against top Medicare brokers, accusing them of steering seniors to plans paying the highest kickbacks and not the plans best for them. I've seen firsthand how confusing and frustrating Medicare can be. When I face my own cancer diagnosis, even with my decades of legal experience, navigating the healthcare system felt impossible. That's exactly why I am partnering with Chapter Medicare. Chapter searches through every available Medicare plan to find the one truly tailored to your doctors, your prescriptions, and your budget. Completely unbiased and free. On average, seniors who've worked with Chapter saved over $1,100 a year. So if you want straightforward, unbiased help, call Chapter right now at 572-243-0163 or visit askchapter.org/lead. It's quick, it's free, and it could save you hundreds. The number's right here on the screen, 572-243-0163. Give yourself peace of mind today. All right, let's keep going.
If somehow it wasn't inclement weather, which means it wasn't raining at all, you wouldn't still see rain droplets on his car. Inclement weather doesn't mean that it's only inclement at the instant that it's raining. And then if it stopped raining for 30 minutes or 30 seconds, then all of a sudden it's not inclement anymore.
Do you see a problem with Officer Tatum's thinking about this statute? He says that if the rain stops 30 seconds or 30 minutes from when the officer pulls over the driver, then that doesn't mean that it's not inclement anymore. You, my little law student, do you see problems with this legal analysis? Hopefully you're all A students now and you're asking, where in the heck did inclement even come from? It's not in the state statute. It's not in the law. And we already discussed what happens if the rain stops 30 seconds before the driver is pulled over, or certainly 30 minutes before the driver is pulled over. That's crazy. If the rain stops 30 minutes before the officer pulls over the driver, then the officer did not pull over the driver during the rain. It's not during the rain if the rain stopped half an hour ago. I love that you guys are going to be able to analyze these facts legally, just like an attorney would. Let's go.
It's not just the rain. It's rain and rainy conditions.
Oh, are you catching it? Are you catching it? He said it's not just the rain, it's rain or rainy conditions. Law student of mine, was that in the statute? Here again is the statute, and it says every vehicle operated in Florida on a highway must have its headlights on during any rain, smoke, or fog. Do you see anything about raining conditions? Which is what Officer Tatum just said. Do you see anything about inclement weather. Do you see any grace period of 30 seconds or 30 minutes? You do not. You just see during any rain, smoke, or fog. All right, let's get back to our brother Officer Tatum. And hopefully you guys are analyzing this correctly. Hopefully you're getting A's on these quizzes.
The hazardous lights and putting your lights on is for the conditions that's associated with rain. When it rains, visibility is lower. There's rain on the streets. People need to have better visibility when driving. That's what the spirit of the law says. That's
that's what the spirit of the law says. I will tell you, and again, none of this is taking shots at Officer Tatum. Excellent content creator. I'm sure he was an excellent officer. I am just looking at this from the lawyer's point of view because, again, this is a legal case. We are talking about state statutes. I will tell you as a lawyer that when anybody says the spirit of the law, then you know you got them. When somebody has to retreat to the word spirit, it means that the arguments that they're making are not in the statutes textually. When you are in court, when you're in trial and you hear opposing counsel say, oh, well, that's the spirit of the law. That's what the legislature surely meant. I'm sure that if the legislature had more time, then they would have said, they would have clarified, they would have put in writing. Whenever you hear someone say it's the spirit of the law, you know you got them.
the hazardous lights and putting your lights on is for the conditions that's associated with rain. When it rains, visibility is lower. There's rain on the streets. People need to have better visibility when driving. That's what the spirit of the law says. That's
The spirit of the law. Let's go.
why no one contested that he was pulled over rightfully. You would not have rain droplets on your car if it had not been raining. The ground is wet. It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time.
Oh, that sounds like an admission to me. It sounds like Officer Tatum really knows what's going on. Sometimes as attorneys, guys, we never know if people are pulling our legs or not. As lawyers, we don't assume that you know the law. So it could be that Officer Tatum just doesn't know. But when he says, oh, well, it could be the rain stopped for a moment in time, that kind of gives me the impression that he knows what the statute says. If the rain stopped for a brief period of time, then what does that mean? It means that the traffic stop did not start during the rain. The focal point of this whole issue is the word during. What did our man say again?
It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time. That does not preclude the justification of having your lights on during inclement weather.
All right, guys, as your law professor, not going to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to replay that last sentence one more time and I want you to analyze it.
It is raining, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it stopped raining for a small period of time. That does not preclude the justification of having your lights on during inclement weather.
Inclement weather. All right. If you're my law student, hopefully you see the issue with that. Shout out to Officer Tatum. Shout out to Lackluster. They're both going at it. If you guys like this video, just let me know and I will break down each of the issues so that you can understand how to analyze these things. You don't have to believe Officer Tatum. You don't have to believe Lackluster. You can think of it for yourself and then you won't be leaving me comments like this. These are laymen here, great people, great subscribers of mine commenting. Do you see any problems with what they're saying? It was raining. What is was? Does was mean during? The car is wet. All right, do you see a problem with that? It's raining. Look at the car glass. Lead. Is his car wet? Water on the vehicle. Was it or is raining? It's rain on the window. If it's raining, should have the lights on. Now, this is true. If it's raining, shout out to HKW. If it's raining, the light should be on. The ground is wet, water particles on his vehicles. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll end it there. Just let me know in the comments if you want me to break down each one of these factors for you so we can get down to the real nitty gritty and know who is right legally. Just let me know in the comments below.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth!